Well, if you guys are as big a fan of wrestling games as I am, you probably know what you're looking at right now. What you're looking at is WCW versus NWO World Tour. Yeah, that's right. I took it back to the N64. So this game came out in 1997. For many people, this is the beginning of a run of video games that would alter the expectations of wrestling fans forever. And I think that's a very fair comment. WCW vs. NWO World Tour, WCW NWO Revenge, WWF WrestleMania 2000, WWF No Mercy. And that does not include the PlayStation side of things, which has the SmackDown series. Now, I will say that this is not the first entry from Akai/THQ in the wrestling genre. And I'll actually do a video on some of their earlier wrestling games that they came out with on even the PlayStation. But for many people, this is the true beginning of a dynasty of wrestling games that changes everything. So, let's look at the modes real quick. WCW vs. NWO. Select a 5 wrestler team for head-to-head elimination matches. This is essentially in what they call the WWF Survivor Series. In WCW, this would have been, I guess, matches that could have taken place at like Starrcade or War Games. Exhibition is obviously where you do all your regular matches, single, tag, handicap, battle royal, etc. So, a league challenge, as it says, you beat all opponents, become a champion. Think of it as like a gauntlet to become the heavyweight champion. So you as an individual go in, you fight a bunch of challengers, and at the end you can become champion. Then they have league round-robin match with 16 people and 8 teams. Tournament, 8 2-man teams in elimination tournament. For this purpose, we'll look at exhibition. Actually, first let me just check the options, make sure. Let's see, spirit meter is on, realism is... Now what does realism even mean? I don't remember. I think maybe that might be their way of saying blood. Alright, so now let's go to exhibition. We'll do a single match. I have not played this game in a long time. So, I might get my ass beat, but let's see. Lex Luger, Sting, The Giant, Scott Steiner. Wow, Scott Steiner before Big Papa Pump. Oh, and by the way, how cool is it if you press on the C button, you have different attires built in. What a novelty! Boy, I wish wrestling games today had this. Actual different attires built into every character. Dean Malenko, Ultimo Dragon, Ric Flair, Rick Steiner, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio Jr., Chris Benoit, Steven Regal. And let's just start from the top. Obviously, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Look at his different attires. Oh, red and wow, they can put the red and yellow in there, huh? NWO Sting was the fake Sting. Buff Bagwell, Eric Bischoff, Six, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Scott Norton, DOA. Now this is supposed to be, I believe this is supposed to be the, basically like the New Japan wrestlers. And then they have like, I don't know if some of these are New Japan or All Japan, but there's some licensing issues with some of these, because I know in the previous game, THQ, Akai released before this, the World Championship Wrestling, they wanted to include New Japan, but they couldn't actually call it that. And then we're back to WCW. So just so you know, so this is the real Sting, and the Sting that's in the NWO is the fake Sting, as they called it. Rick Steiner, Ric Flair, yeah. So let's see. For this purpose, let's go ahead and be. I guess I'll go in as Hulk Hogan. And so we'll do Hulk Hogan versus Steven Regal. We'll put a time limit on it. 30 minutes. WCW, NWO. So they don't have like pay-per-view arenas in this. That would come in the next game. And I'll boost up Hulk. And Lord Regal, you get a little knock for jumping between AEW and WWE. So you notice there are no intros. This is all you get. So now they'd never had real music in these games. So that's one thing to keep in mind. They never had real music in the next game, but they did have actual introductions. So, you know, take that for what it is, right? But still, in this game, they don't even have that. But, you know, I never played this game really worrying about that kind of stuff because the game is still enjoyable, even without, you know, the intros and all the stuff that we kind of automatically get in the current games that would come later. But this game was ahead of its time, believe me. This was the first popularized game with this game engine. In the mid-90s, the fact that like we went from wrestling games that were basically like arcade fighters, more like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, to something like this, it was a big transition. These were the kind of games you could play with your friends, you know, whether it's on the couch or... Okay, so I dropped the weapon as soon as I went back in. Let's see if I can bait him out. Okay, when I taunt, I dropped the weapon. Is there a way to actually get in the ring with the weapon? I might have to get him to come outside. Come on, Regal. Help me out, brother. Wow, he's got his special over there. Thought I could trick him. Should have known better. Oh, he's got me to submission. You thought you were going to go over in this match? That don't work for me, brother. Oh, look at the blood. Look at the blood. And he's dangling. This was revolutionary at this time, that you could bloody your opponent like this. Limb targeting. If you worked the arm was hurt. If you worked the leg was hurt. You hit him in the head a bunch. Now, because he's fatigued and damaged, he is going to actually move like he's fatigued and damaged. He recovered from that, but don't worry. Oh, he's stretching me here. Luckily, he caught me outside the ring. How do I do my finisher with Hogan? Oh. It's pretty beat up. You might tap. One thing about this game versus the next game is the interference and all the stuff that really gets developed more in the next game. So, like, if you're Hollywood Hogan in Revenge, you're probably getting some interference. Even the detection of knocking a guy off and having him hit the rails like that, I mean, that was really revolutionary for its time.
Give up.
Choked you out, brother. Just like a real pay-per-view. Hogan goes over. And that's it. You know, no true outro. Obviously, like I said, no NWO music. But, you know, that's WCW versus NWO World Tour. I mean, for those who, you know, have played this game or played the games that came after it, you know, this was really where it got going. And this is what got a lot of people into these kind of games. So, Hogan versus Regal, WCW versus NWO World Tour. It's a little taste. I could do more on this game later, but I figured I'd just do this match, show you guys what this game looked like, and, you know, give you an idea of how it played. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to keep having fun. I hope you continue to have fun with me here in the Corner Arcade.